1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 to 3 says, "If I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but I do not have love, I'm only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move the mountains but have not love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor, and if I surrender my body to the flames but have not love, I gain nothing." As Christians, it must be love that compels us to do all that we do, or else everything we do is meaningless. If Elisabeth Elliot had chosen to be compelled by anger or hatred, she would never have gone back to Ecuador, and an entire people would never have come to know the good news of Christ. Today we can sing for the Lord, and we can dance and do all these wonderful things through fine arts, but if we do it without love, it's empty noise. If I stand here and if I preach for you today, but I do not have love in my heart, I might as well shut up and sit down. It's like driving a car without ever putting gas in it. Love has to be the force that drives us to do all that we do.
Amen.
Now, why is this love so important? Well, Jesus himself was compelled by love. And 15 times in the synoptic gospel, we see that Jesus was moved with compassion. He saw the hurting and the oppression of his people, and not for any benefit of his own, but out of love he healed them. Out of love he ministered to them. Out of love for us, he went all the way to Calvary, and he took stripes on his back, and he took nails in his hands so that you and I might be saved.
Hosanna.
We say that it was our sin that nailed Jesus to the cross, but it was his love for us that kept him there. Now, if we're Jesus' followers, shouldn't we be compelled by that same love? But sometimes we allow other things to get in the way. Sometimes we allow ourselves to be motivated by selfish ambition. We want people's attention. We want people to see our achievements. But there's no love there. Sometimes we even allow ourselves to be motivated by sheer obligation. Oh, well, the pastor called me and asked me to go share tracks Saturday morning, so I got to go share tracks now. There's no love. In John chapter 21, Jesus said, "If you love me, feed my sheep." But sometimes we want to pick and choose which sheep we want to feed. We easily love those that we know and we get along with and our friends. But those we don't know or we aren't comfortable with, we reject them. Jesus sat and dined with sinners. But today we reject the drug dealers, the prostitutes, the homosexuals, etc. In Matthew 5:46, Jesus said, "If you love those who love you, what reward do you get?" It means nothing. Selfish ambition doesn't change life. Love does. Favoritism doesn't lead others to Jesus. Love does. Fancy words and a nice church service did absolutely nothing for me. It was the amazing love of God that took me out of my brokenness and led me to the foot of the cross.
Amen.
And today the same love needs to drive everything that we do, because it's all that matters. Compelled by the love of God, Elisabeth Elliot went and she shared the love of God to those who should have been her enemies and led them to the saving grace of Christ. Compelled by love, Jesus allowed himself to be mutilated and sacrificed so that you and I might be free today. Won't you let this love lead you? Won't you let it compel you? Forget about selfish ambition and ask God to help you to know that there's a world out there that really needs to know this love, and ask God to help you to know that. And forget about your selfish ambition. Forget about picking and choosing which sheep you want to feed, and be like Jesus, who loved those the world wouldn't touch. Let this love lead you and compel you, and ask God to let it consume you and drive everything that you do. Because with nothing else matters. Nothing else matters if we aren't compelled by love.